Welcome back to Owl's Walk. Logan says, on the positive side, Ryo has already done more than Johnson in his entire career. So there's a left back done, and Famio is back soon onwards. Tom says, I've seen enough of Ryo already. He is a baller. Welcome back to 20 minutes of Sheffield Wednesday chat. Ryo Hatsuse has to now start against Sunderland, say the faithful. Also, we've got Sheffield Wednesday fans saying, stop talking about the playoffs. They are gone. Forget about it. We'll get Matt's view on that in a second. We're looking at Sheffield Wednesday's March fixtures and predicting how many points out of 15 the Owls are likely to pick up, and which side would we love to see relegated. There's 9 teams that could drop. Which one fan base have you, as an Owls fan, had enough of? Stay tuned to the end. We'll get Matt's view on all of that. Delighted to have Matt with us. Tom is away on holiday this week, and Glyn is still ill, sadly. We wish him all the best, and we'll get him back on here soon. Right, Matt, Burnley's gone. I don't want to talk too much about that game, but I've got to say, how did you not score in that first half? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've got no idea, Mark, is the honest answer. How we didn't score, I don't know. I don't know whether it was down to some fantastic defending or whether it was just appalling finishing. I would probably suggest it's a combination of the two. It's rung true over the past couple of weeks, really, and for the entire season, really. We do create an awful lot. We went through a little spell where we seem to take those chances, and now we're going through a little spell where we don't take enough of those chances to win games with the defensive frailties at the back that are only getting worse week on week. But again, for anybody who watched the game, obviously on Friday night, because we're on Sky again this Friday, in between both boxes, we are outstanding. We're really entertaining to watch. The problem is just when you get into the penalty area, either side of it, it's just not gonna go the way Sheffield Wednesday fans would want. So yeah, again, you won't hear too many complaints from me, Mark.
Okay. We'll get into some other bits of the game in a second. We know it's 5 days gone and so on, but there's still some relevant points here ahead of Sunderland. The biggest talking point was about Johnson, and last week, if you were with us, we tried to feel as much criticism as we could from him. However, it came back this week in the form of a replacement. Dan says, I've seen enough in the last 10 minutes from Ryo Hatsuse to say Marvin Johnson shouldn't start another game from now till the end of the season. Anyways, composure in front of goal is gone, and the defending is another level of crap. But the effing Owls. I love this fan base. I've got to say, Wednesday fans, I've got to be the most spot-on comical geniuses of the ways of summing up games. Right, talk about Ryo for us. Is he the guy to go forwards?
Well, we saw 10-15 minutes of him, so it would probably be a bit of an overstretch to say that he's the Messiah and he's going to save us. I think the wider issue here, Mark, is Marvin Johnson this season, and this sounds really like I'm putting him out to pasture, really. He has seen a decline that is not uncommon in a player of his age. It's just been in really stark. It's been really stark over the course of this season. And I think that's a mark of the level of performances that he's put in over the course of the years prior when he's been playing for us. Like, he didn't play for us for much of the beginning of last season, was instrumental in us surviving last season and coming back into the team. This season, it is really difficult to say because we've had so much rotation at the back, but time after time, especially in recent weeks, teams are exploiting him. He's had injuries. He's had a really difficult situation off the field in his personal life as well that has gone on. His form has just taken a dip. And over the past couple of weeks, you can cite West Bromwich Albion, where he let Jason Malumbi just run off him clean into space. You can cite Friday night, where he didn't track Edwards for the first goal. There's a number of errors that you can kind of highlight. And when it's one or two over the course of a season, you can go, Howard, you know what? It just happens. When you're saying week on week and then the level of overall performance is also dropping, I think that Ryo Hatsuse signing is a long-term replacement for Marvin Johnson, which is a smart piece of business. I think he's out of contract as well, Mark, at the end of the year. I think it is time for us to say thank you very much for all of the work, but over the course of the remaining 12 games of the season, we should hopefully before the end of the season see that transition into it being Hatsuse's shirt for next year. And also, let's not forget, We did originally sign Max Lowe to play left wing back. He's just had to play the majority of the season at centre half because of the injuries that we have there. So I'm not going to dig him out too much. He's been a wonderful player for us over the time period that he has been. But I do think it is time now for somebody to come in and maybe fill those shoes. And I really do hope it's Ryo, because his 15-minute cameo that he had on Friday night, he was put a couple of really good deliveries into the box, was always showing for the ball and screaming at players when he didn't receive it. Defensively, we've heard mixed reviews from people who do watch the J-League, because of course there are people who watch the J-League. And they've said going forward, brilliant. Defensively, not great. But that just sounds to me like a much younger Marvin Johnson.
Absolutely. Does he start then against Sunderland?
I don't see the harm in not starting him, because you know what you're going to get from Marvin Johnson if you bring him on into the game. You know you're going to get energy and work rate going forward, and that he's going to be quick enough to track most wingers, but that he may fall asleep at a crucial point, or not, effectively pass somebody on. I don't see the harm in it, really, to be honest with you, Mark, when we are, 6, effectively 7 points away from the playoffs with goal difference. There's no harm at this point in time. Like, you've got to trial it. Like, it's worthwhile, I think, giving him a shot.
Okay. Let us know what you think in the comments. Couple more things then. There's just summary ones that come up. Gunboat here says, we saw reality today. Our squad isn't good enough to compete near the top of the division, and no amount of delusion or sugarcoating the effort changes that. Not signing a centre-half, here we go again, and strike has cost us. It also means Röhl will no doubt walk out in the summer. And we're getting a bit, tired of seeing and reading these. The blame for this season, if it does peter out into 13th or 14th, will not be on Röhl or the players. It will squarely be on Shanziri. Where does that leave us as a club and as a fan base then, heading into what's going to be a pivotal summer, isn't it? Because already we've got Rangers that have sacked the manager, and once again Röhl's name is being mentioned. Is being mentioned there. What needs to happen in these next sort of 12 weeks?
A takeover.
But joking aside, though, is that it's ultimately, can the fan base push for that, do you think?
So wider Sheffield Wednesday news, Mark. There's been a Twitter outlet which is called 1867 News. It depends on who, when you're watching this, kind of like whether people feel that it's a reputable source or not. But it seems to be the only source of news that comes out of the club that does have some substantiation of the truth within it. Who has said that in the past week or so, there's been 2 bids that have been tabled towards and to buy the club over, to take the club over, and both have been initially allowed, but then the doors have just been closed. My personal belief, and I've obviously been speaking about it for around a year now, obviously on this platform, is the chairman is out of money. I think that was shown by the January transfers, bringing in Stuart Armstrong, good player, but for a very nominal fee from Vancouver Whitecaps, and signing Ibrahim Sissoko, again, good player, but was offered to several other clubs before he was offered to us, and they all turned him down because of his injury. In the summer, previously just gone, the chairman cited at the fans forum that Danny had asked him for 6 players and he went out and signed 11. He paid a fee for 2 of them. So again, it is just about kind of what it's going to take. Me personally, do I think that Danny Röhl will walk away from the club? No, I don't think so. Do I think somebody will come and poach him? Yes. I'm not as concerned about Rangers, because I think they would struggle to meet the 5 million valuation for the manager and then the 10 million for his additional coaching staff. The people who do worry me are Southampton and Leicester, because Southampton will circle back around because they only signed their latest manager to a 12-month contract, and they'll have parachute payments and no longer be close to the wind of FFP. And Leicester, who are traditionally, in modern tradition, they are a well-run club. I know they're not at the minute, and their fan base are really not very happy with their director of football. Both of those seem a very logical appointment to me. And I think that unless the chairman, the difficulty with the chairman is obviously, and we spoke about him a number of times, Mark, but he can make all the promises in the world now. He's gone back on several of them over 15, 16 months. And if I am in Danny Röhl's position, I sit there and go, what makes me believe this one? What makes me believe this one is going to be true? Because next season in the Championship, I believe the division is a stronger division and it's more competitive, which means that the top 6 to 8 teams are going to be more bunched up. For you to break into that, you are going to have to spend money because let's not forget, this squad is going to need a rebuild. It's going to need at least another goalkeeper. It's going to need 2 centre halves. It's going to need 2 central midfielders, and it's going to need 2 forwards. That's a lot of money, and you can't build a spine of a squad on fees and loans.
Absolutely spot on. I guess that won't be the last time that we come to you to ask that question either. People have said the playoffs are over, Matt, as we said right at the start of this. I don't buy that. I still see you 6 points away with 12 games left, 36 points available. If we have a look at March in particular, the away games here against Plymouth, Norwich and Cardiff, I think are all winnable. I know Norwich particularly might be difficult, but they do blow hot and cold. The home games might cause some difficulty.
Yeah.
How do you see this month going in terms of 15 available?
Do you know what? It's a really, really good question, Mark, because I agree with you. Cardiff and Plymouth are both winnable games. And with the fact that Sheffield Wednesday are better away from home than they are at Hillsborough, I agree with you. I think that's a better banker of 6 points. I wouldn't say that we are guaranteed to get 6 points, but I would say that that's a better... those are where you need to make your coin, so to speak, within this. Traditionally, we don't do very well at Norwich. We always struggle. The fact that it is, I think, also like it being a midweek game, I think is also going to potentially, I think is going to cost us a little bit. I think I'm not just saying that because Norwich is a million miles from anywhere aside from Ipswich. I'm thinking of it from the perspective of we also beat them 2-0 and they weren't in the game earlier at Hillsborough. So again, there will be sides. I know professional players don't talk like this, but definitely managers will do. They will circle fixtures on the reverse fixture of we have to be better in that one. They do have a few players obviously coming back to fitness. Yeah, I agree with you. They blow hot and cold, but if you can get a point there, I'd be thrilled. Sunderland on Friday night, very difficult game. I think it's probably going to be one of the most entertaining games in the Championship because both teams love to attack. And love having a go at the opposition. So I think that's going to be a very entertaining game, but ultimately I think we'll probably come up short in that one. And then the one that I've saved is best till last, obviously the Steel City Derby. I'm cautiously optimistic for that game. Cautiously optimistic. And I know that sounds absolutely bonkers when you know, like United are where they are and we are on the run that we are currently on. The reason why I'm cautiously optimistic is because we have absolutely nothing to lose in that game. And Sheffield United have everything to lose and very minimal things to gain from winning that game. So it does allow us to go out and play with a level of freedom. I think also the way in which the playing staff and managers reacted post the win at Bramall Lane, if you did need to add any additional fuel to that fire,
oh yes,
I would imagine that they've firmly had that fixture, not just earmarked because it's a derby, but firmly. I mean, all you would need to do to fire those players up on that day is just play the social media clips of Chris
Wilder.
The
video. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Daft. Brilliant. Thanks for that. Obviously, we're previewing all of those games on the channel, so do join us for that. Lastly, this week, play along with this bit as well in the comments. Which team and fan base in particular have you had enough of? We're going to relegate 3 teams in 12 weeks, but which one, if you could choose, would it be? We reckon that everyone above Preston is now safe, and probably Oxford and Swansea are safe as well. To be honest, in reality, with fixtures, but yeah, Matt, it's nice to see Sheffield Wednesday not on this picture, isn't it? Let's be frank. Last season, it was all about who's going to go: Plymouth, Wednesday, Birmingham, or Huddersfield. Which fan base do you think deserves a life in League One?
I can give you 2, Mark, if that's okay. If I can just check this a little bit. Cardiff have been circling the drain for far too long now. Cardiff have been circling around that, haven't really provided any additional quality. I do feel sorry for them for a little bit in terms of the ownership model that they went through and the managers that they've gone through. But I also do think that they would probably benefit from a season in League One and resetting. The other fan base, and this is, I take no pleasure in this, but it is Luton Town. The reason why I feel Luton Town, in my opinion, deserve to go down is because of the expectations that people had on them at the start of the season, including their fan base and around the rest of the league. You know, they were my pick to win the league. I think if you're going to do it, you might as well do it in style. You might as well, like I had them down, I think, to finish first. You might as well do it and finish rock bottom and just have every single person proved wrong. I think Matt Bloomfield's a smart appointment. I think the players that they've recruited are good. They're just not ready for this level yet.
Okay, good shouts. Let us know whether you disagree or if you've got any other justifications in the comments below. Great to speak to you, Matt. Enjoy the game on for another Friday night game for you. Yeah. Another week of work and then heading straight to Hillsborough, right? Enjoy the game against Sunderland. We'll see you in 7 days' time to review. It's all. Thank you very much for watching.